Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. Thanks for joining us for another video. Hope you all had a great weekend. We certainly did. We've got news today surrounding Ruud van Nistelrooy, some Manchester United transfer news. Get involved in the chat as ever, Reds, because we want to discuss some of your comments throughout today's video. Now, first of all, what's your thoughts on that news surrounding Ruud van Nistelrooy?
Exciting, to be honest with you. PSV, that's where he was. Done his trade over there. But he's got the option. Burnley manager, apparently. Conversations are being had. And I think it'd be daft to turn that down. I think when you look at what Burnley did, they came up. And look where that manager is now. He's with Bayern Munich. So you've got to look at it. They're a strong championship side, Burnley. They've come down from the Premier League, and I think they'll bounce straight back up. So he's got a really difficult choice, I think. I think it'll do him the world of good. Doing a manager at Burnley, profile, get his profile as a manager, higher there. So at the end of the day, come to Manchester United, fine, I'd love it. I think he'd be a great addition to the coaching and everything what goes round. He is a quality player. He's done his trade as a manager, coaching.
That's the thing as well, isn't it? You know, it depends what his mindset's like. You know, surely he must have set out, like we've seen at PSV, he's set out to be a manager, and he's being offered a coaching role here at Manchester United. You know, us as fans would jump at the chance. Yeah. But it depends what his mind's like and what instilled to be a manager. You know, it could end up where he comes to Manchester United, and like Michael Carrick, Kieran McKenna, does a bit of a trade here at Manchester United as a coach, a coaching role, and then goes on to maybe bigger, better things.
Yeah, but the opportunity's there now to cement what he wants. And like you say, it's a bit of where's his mindset? Does he want to prove himself in that championship, bring them up and then like compete in the Premier League? So a really, really difficult choice. Me personally, I'd look at it and I'd take that Burnley job, the Burnley job. I'd fight for it. I'd want to work with players. I'd want to be the gaffer. And I think that's what he wants. So difficult, but listen, if he comes to Manchester United, there's conversations going on. Difficult decision, but hey, what an addition to the squad there, because what a professional he is. Outstanding centre forward. He knows what it's about, and you know, at the end of the day, he can tell our wingers what it is a centre forward needs, and that's a cross. Yeah, exactly. That he got the crosses.
Yeah, and the centre forwards at United would only benefit from his experience, surely. Yeah, he just want to be in his ear hole constantly.
I think the attacking play would benefit from him, because he would explain to him, I don't need to see where you are. You need to know, just pop the ball, I'm going to be there. And he needs to educate him. And listen, he's done a good job up to now. Did a good job at PSV. He's done his coaching.
Won a couple of trophies, finished second there as well. So
yeah, you can't argue.
You know, he might still be the manager. He still fancies himself to be a manager. Still has a lot to prove as well.
Yeah, I think he might see it as a step down. I hope he doesn't. I hope he just sees it as Manchester United. Yeah. He's been here before, you know, he's had a great time here. So at the end of the day, it's about what he wants. Does he want to be the man? So time will tell what's going on with this. A bit more conversations are going, but I'm sure Burnley will want an answer this week.
It also maybe depends as well what type of coaching role as well. Whether it's just going to be like a regular coach on the training field, day in, day out, helping out with the instructions, Erik ten Hag's giving the rest of the coaches, just to implement to the players. Because I remember a story a few months ago now, I think we discussed it, and it was Man United also looking at Gary O'Neill from Wolves, and that always struck me as to think, well, what type of coach would he actually be coming in here to actually be? Yeah, you wouldn't think just like a regular coach, would you? He'd have some sort of position in there.
No, I don't think.
You know, is this the same sort of lines with Ruud van Nistelrooy?
It just might be that, but I think they're just looking at it to bring the right people in. But the thing is, I don't think the coaching role is the right thing for Ruud van Nistelrooy. I might be wrong. He might choose Manchester United, but I just feel.
Do you think he's got more to offer as a manager? Do you think there's something there? There's some big potential there to actually be a good manager?
Listen, Ruud knows what he's doing. He's determined in his football. He's obviously determined in the coaching, and I don't think there's going to be too many opportunities for Ruud van Nistelrooy to get in management over here, especially with the team what's set up to come straight back up to the Premier League. And I think it's an opportunity he'll have to grab, because there won't be too many coming along, I don't think.
might need to get him involved in the actual Premier League squad for next season if we don't end up signing a striker. But we will get on to Joshua Zirkzee later on. But he also managed Branthwaite as well, someone who we're reportedly in for. We've made a bid for him to Everton, and he managed him on loan over there. I think he made 27 appearances under Nistelrooy as well.
Yeah, so he knows the kid, so that'd work well, wouldn't it? But with Branthwaite, I think the news on him, it's gone cold. I think this week, if we don't hear any more, I think that's all dead and buried. But that's only my opinion. I think Everton really, when they look at Branthwaite, they've outpriced him. And clearly United are not prepared to pay that tax, what we always get hit with. So Branthwaite, I think this week, any more news, I think they'll have moved on to someone else. It's going cold now. But unfortunately, that kid wants to come to United. But United aren't prepared to pay the money.
Yeah, it depends what Everton want as well, because I think Manchester United, I think if it's anything above, well, at the 50 million mark and above, I think it'll be staggered across, like at least 2, 3, 4 seasons, the actual transfer fee. And it's whether Everton will want to take that or they want the lump sum up front as well.
Well, it depends on which reports you look at and what you believe is the right report. But it looks as though like £50 million is the ceiling what United want to pay, and that's with add-ons as well. And at the end of the day, I did say a couple of weeks ago, £50 million. Yeah, might get in with a little bit of ads on, but looks like Everton just clearly digging their heels in, and they want 70 million, whether that's in staggered payments or not. But I don't see United paying that now. I think this has gone on too long. This really should have been cleared up a couple of weeks ago. There's nothing really stopping this deal going through and sorting out what price it is and then declaring, well, that's too dear, we're walking away. So I think what you'll hear from United this week is we're walking away, we're not interested, the price is too much.
I'm a little bit surprised even that I've not seen any rumours surrounding it, to be honest with you. With the Branthwaite deal, why haven't United thrown Harry Maguire into the mix as a part exchange? I think it's a player there who could do a really good job at Everton in the way they play as well.
Yeah, but I've said it time and time again. I might be wrong in this, but I just believe Harry Maguire is just staying at Manchester United. He's not going anywhere. He's happy staying at Man United, whether he plays 10, 20 games a season or not. I think he knows he's down the pecking order here, but I do look at it, and it might sound mercenary and all that from me, but I think he's just quite happy picking up the wages and then looking at the end of his career, end of his contract, walking out and getting a lump sum payment, joining someone else. I think that's how it works with Adam Maguire. I think when he never went to West Ham, I think very difficult to try and put him in part exchange for a player and all that. That's not for Harry Maguire, not in my opinion. Like
he mentioned earlier on, put it up on screen, Leny Yoro from Lille, but I've seen interest as well from Real Madrid, and it takes me back to all them years ago when United were looking at Rafael Varane as a young kid as well, a young centre-half, and he ended up going to Real Madrid. And I actually probably do see that kid's destination at Real Madrid. I could be wrong, but how long do you give it as well until Man United pull away from this Branthwaite deal and move on to other targets?
Well, what it is, I look at it this way.
Because it was a big issue for us last season at that centre-half position, wasn't it?
Listen, the strategy, okay, there doesn't seem to be a strategy. And the thing is, since the cup final, we've had the end of season review, and that has sent the strategy bonkers as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Really, if you look at when Ineos come in, the first thing, and I have said it constantly, time and time again, 2 centre-halves we need to get, and they should have been earmarked. And we've had plenty of time. There've been plenty of conversations going on about the summer transfers and all that. Ten Hag has told us that. He was telling us that in March, April. So they really should have highlighted who they wanted and gone and got them. And I mean, gone and got them by now. I'm very surprised it's not been done. And that's why I say I think the strategy's gone pear-shaped since that end of season review, because people have not known where they are. They've not committed themselves. They've either gone talking to a manager with an idea of bringing him in, and it's not worked out. That then left Ten Hag, can't go and get somebody, can't instruct people to go while this review's there. So I think the strategy has just gone right out the window. And listen, we all know it's complicated when it comes to transfers and that. But to be honest with you, it's time now to get their heads together and get this sorted out and bring in the right players, and also get rid of some of the players. And that is really why I say the strategy seems to have gone pear-shaped, and it is frustrating, and I know it's frustrating for people out there, because really a lot of people should have been moved out by now, and it is baffling.
Just going back to that Nistelrooy being spoken to about a coaching role, what's going on with Benny McCarthy? Has anyone heard any latest news on him? Because the last I heard a couple of weeks ago, let's say, he was leaving Manchester United. He wasn't being offered a new contract. So would Nistelrooy be coming in to slot in to his position, his role? Because he was coaching the centre forwards as well, from what I understood, McCarthy.
Well, the only reports, as you say, quite right, unless someone out there tells us that they were looking, they wasn't sure whether Benny McCarthy was getting an extended contract. Yeah. And I think conversations like that will have still be going on, or he might just be moved out and quietly just gone about his job.
Unless that was based on Erik Ten Hag staying or leaving at the time when the review was still going on. I'm not too sure, but if anyone knows any updated news, let us know. Well,
this is the thing about the strategy and all that. You know, someone's contract is running out and it's not been sorted out. I think, and I say it again, I actually think the strategy going around transfers, coaching staff and everything has gone pear-shaped, proper pear-shaped, and they're just trying to rush now and get it sorted. But the strategy with transfers and everything...
What do you mean, rushing? What do you see that Man United actually doing in terms of rushing? Because I think with the strategy, you're looking at the players that they're being linked to. They're all like young players, do you know what I mean? Like Yoro, you're looking at Zirkzee as well. You know, for me, they are going for a younger type of player.
Should have got
Branthwaite as well.
Yeah, but they should have been got and targeted by now. If these were the players for the last 5-6 months, what have been looked at, they should have been gone, contacted, offers put in, and that's what's disappointing. We're not seeing the offers go in. I think a lot of people out there at the end of the season would have expected players to be targeted, and Manchester United put the offers in. And that's what we're not seeing. And that's
but we've seen the offer with Branthwaite. That offer's been put in. We're just waiting for some...
Yeah, but we know the offer was low. Okay. United aren't prepared to pay the tax. So at the end of the day, it seems if they're not prepared to pay the tax and they're going to put in these offers, which they haven't done on a lot of so-called targets, okay, then they're going to put in low ball offers. They don't want to pay the tax. And that is a problem because we've got 6 weeks before our first competitive game, which will be the Charity Shield. Okay, so players need to really be in now and bedded and get ready for the pre-season tour. So it is a problem. The players, what they're going for, they're not. You say young players, and that people out there say young players. That's what Ineos seem to be going for. Well, the bids should have gone in. They should have already targeted him. And I also believe the strategy has gone a little bit chaotic at the moment, and they're chasing to try and catch up. But I think it might bite our asses down the line here. I honestly do.
Yeah, it does seem like but I don't see it as a bad thing, though, that they've got at least 2 or 3 targets in each position that they actually want to get. And I do think in the next offer they put in for Branthwaite, I think if that's rejected, I think they'll just close the deal and they'll move on to someone else. I do think they'll move straight away. I don't think we'll see, like we've seen in other transfer windows, when these like transfer sagas have been dragged out up until the last 2 week of the season, like we've seen with Frankie de Jong and many other players. Well, and then they just go on throwing an absolute almighty bidding for Branthwaite of 70 or 80 million because we're desperate. I think them times have gone now.
Well, I look at it, and I've just said there, 6 weeks before our first competitive game, and we need to be all in on the players. The players all need to be in and ready to attack from the first game. Not 3 weeks into the season started, someone else comes in. We've seen what happened last year, and we've seen how poor it's been under Erik Ten Hag, how they've gone after players and then ended up desperate. And 6 weeks isn't a long time for players to be able to come over, get introduced into the squad, work out what's going on, and then the season's here. And then next thing you know, it's August. Next thing you know, it's the end of August.
Yeah,
players aren't even match fit. Yeah. What have come in? And like you say, playing Liverpool. So we're creeping.
Players as well from the Euros to have a bit of a rest as well, get on holiday, enjoy the beach for a couple of weeks as well before they come back in.
Well, this is what I'm saying. We're creeping to the start of the season without people being in there, people properly identified, and people not settled in to the club, and that's the problem. listen, I'll go back to it. We know it's complicated, but at the end of the day, the targets, what they should have had, bids should have gone in for him. And I see a lack of that. I don't know what you see out there. I see plenty of conversations about different players. We must have been linked with about 70 players, right? But I don't see the bids. And what I'm saying, right, at the end of the season, the target should have been there and the bids should have gone in. And that's what's unnerving me and worrying me about at the start of the season. It is here and it is not long away.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying, and I don't get me wrong, I totally agree with you. You'd rather us get one or two players near enough signed up already by the end of June, ideally, and then going into pre-season, etc. But I just think, come the end of that season, what we had, I think the main focus was all around the manager and the manager's job. And I do think maybe transfers took a little bit of a back burner on the side, and they were just focusing on what to do with the manager. Not ideal at all, do you know what I mean? And I think that maybe they are having to play a little bit of catch up. But I do think we will get deals done though this summer in the way they're approaching things. And if clubs don't want to play ball or the players don't really fancy coming, they will move on to other targets. I don't think we'll see them last panic buys that we've been used to with the last couple of weeks of the season where we're just paying huge amounts of money. I really don't think them times have gone.
Maybe not huge amount of money, but maybe a few panic buys at the end of it because the strategy has gone pear-shaped with what happened with Erik ten Hag. So at the end of the day, a lot of people out there will be saying, well, players should be in now. Yeah. Some players say, well, just take your time in that, and it's how you look at it. And me sat here right now, I've looked at it over the last week and I think to myself, nothing's really happening. And it concerns me. And it concerns me when I look at the previous strategies, what's gone on, the panic buys. That's the one thing none of us want, them panic buys. Because I believe, and everyone out there believes, that them days are over with Ineos and they need to up the game now and get their heads on it.
We was talking about panic buys, though, as well. You've also got to think of the players that we've still got in this squad.
That's the big thing.
Who need shipping out. And some people out there might think that's more of a priority in shipping a lot of these out than it is getting players in. Because we've got too much dead wood in there earning a right few quid and not actually earning it on the pitch.
Listen, I've said that from day one. It's the dead wood what needs to go, okay? You can't have people, right, who are just walking around, just taking the money, negative attitudes and all that in and around the squad. It just doesn't do the squad much good. So to me, the deadwood they should have already gone by now. They should have already been earmarked. And that's what's worrying about the strategy, about these players, what really needs to be moved on. We're not seeing any of it. And I thought it would have been done now. Would it be done this week? I hope so. But I fear it's not going to go that way.
Yeah, let's wait and see. Hopefully in the next week or two,
things
will actually move on with players going out and players coming in. And it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, if all of a sudden, bang.
No, let's hope so.
It lights up.
Let's hope so. That's what we want. And it wouldn't surprise me neither. But it's just how I see it now. And a lot of people are seeing it the same way. And like you say, click your finger. Things might change.
Yeah, Zirkzee as well, who was just discussing before, that he's stating on Sky Sports News this in the last 24 hours, including today, that Man United are in talks with Zirkzee's representatives after making it clear they're prepared to meet his 34 million release clause.
Well, if they're prepared to meet it, it's just a matter of talking to his representatives. If they want him, then offer him the right money. They're obviously, clearly going to pay it, but that's the first one for a while I've seen where they want to pay the money and they're offered to pay it. So at the end of the day, this week, really, there should be no complications. If the player wants to come to Manchester United and they're talking to his reps, then it should be an easy deal to do. So let's just hope that they get through it this week. If they're meeting his clause, they're prepared to pay the money. There's no Man United tax on it. It's just a matter of the outside influences, whether some agent wants more money than what it really is entitled to.
Yeah, keep our eyes on that. Hopefully we'll get some movement on that later this week. And we can start open eyes looking at it and then discussing where does he fit into the Manchester United team. Is Højlund still that number one main striker? Does Zirkzee come in as a backup? Or are they just going to fight out for the rest of the season to get that number one spot?
Well,
I don't know too much about Zirkzee. I've only seen little clips like some people have spoken to on YouTube. But if there's any people out there who watch Italian football regular, let us know in the chat, because he's a young lad Me personally, I'd prefer, someone who's more established, been around the game a little bit more, knows what it's like to play in the Premier League as well, and has got that reputation of scoring at least 20 goals a season. But it's hard to find that at the moment, let's be honest. So,
well, we have said that we would like someone to come straight in who's a little bit older to take the reins, a goal scorer, someone who is like regular scoring goals, especially in the Premier League. But if this is what United's going for, that's the strategy. We stick with it. Like you say, there's a few years, 3 years, they believe we're going to get back challenging, and it's a matter of building up a young squad and then taking them further and obviously add 1 or 2 experienced players. But if this is the player they're going for, they've earmarked him, they see him as a talent, and if they get it done this week, great.
Yeah, moving on to Mason Greenwood as well. I've seen a report earlier on from Lazio, and it said that Lazio have offered €20 million plus 50% of any future sale, but Manchester United have said no. But he seems to think that Lazio will go back in to speak to Manchester United soon. So €20 million, roughly about £17 million.
Listen, Mason Greenwood, this is always going to be difficult. The low ball in United. He's gone round. He's been in Portugal. He's been in Italy, looking at clubs there. So the option there, I think clubs are looking to get him on loan. United just do not want that. They want him off their hands, and they're not accepting 20 million. They don't want the messing about. Really, at the end of the day, 30 million, and then in £30 million, not euros. £30 million, I think, is a fair value at the moment with a sell-on clause if that's what happens. But these Italians, Lazio, they're not offering the right money. I don't understand how anyone could think that Mason Greenwood's talents when he was at United and what he's done at Getafe would warrant €20 million bid, because that is outrageous as far as I'm concerned.
It's a huge sell-on fee as well, though, 50%. You'd like to think that if he did go to Lazio in his first 2 or 3 seasons, he'd do very well and put the ball in the back of the net. So you'd expect him then to be a 60, 80 million pound player again, surely. So 50% of that, it's a decent transfer fee coming back to Manchester United, or do you see it differently?
But United just want to wash their hands of it. They just want the deal. Give us the money, stop messing about. Just get it sorted. And he is a great talent. There's no 2 ways about it. They know it. Everyone else knows it. We all know the reasons why he's not going to be on United's books much longer. But at the end of the day, pay a decent fee and then just write everything into the contract. But €20 million, to be honest with you, it's an insult, proper insult.
Yeah, I'd like to see really Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano coming out with this news more than that Marcio, because I've seen him just pull some right stinkers, to be honest with you, especially with transfers going on in England. I know it's Mason Greenwood and Lazio, with Lazio being in Italy, but I remember him not too long ago saying Erik ten Hag was definitely getting the sack after the FA Cup final. He was one of them, like that Steinberg from, was it The Telegraph? But maybe Ornstein or Romano might pick something up this week on Greenwood, so we'll have a chat about it if they do. But Luke Shaw, I noticed on Sky Sports this morning, back in training with the England squad. You said it might end in tears a few weeks ago.
I think it'll definitely end in tears. The more and more I see this England side, the way they play, it's like everything's relying on Luke Shaw getting back in the team. I don't think he'll get in the team for Tuesday. I think they'll wait for the game once they get out the group. But the thing is, too much. It's to me, the weight of the press, the weight of everything on Luke Shaw is going to be too much. And I look at him and I think to myself, who are you going to work with down that left wing? Who are you going to work with? He's not worked with any of them anyway. I think it's just the unknown.
Well, the way Gareth Southgate's got it set up with Foden on the left currently cutting in, he's going to be up and down that wing, Luke Shaw as well, and he's been out since February.
Yeah, but
he's going to have to put some grafting down that left wing.
Yeah, but if he puts Gordon in there, he's going to be doing the same. Yeah. So at the end of the day, this will end in tears. But United, there's been conversation for the last couple of days about United not being happy and all that. And then United are happy and they're talking to the medical staff and all that. I don't care what the medical staff are doing. We've seen what's happened with United players all year with the medical staff. Back in training, next thing you know, they break down in training. They get back on the pitch, they break down. This is Luke Shaw, time and time again. It's a bad move, him going out there. Should never have been allowed. If he was fit, fair enough, go out there and then just build yourself up to get match practice. But no, he wasn't even fit. So this is a bad move all round. And it has baffled me from day one. Absolutely,
So
day one.
do you think actually he'll be rushed back then into the England squad because of the problems they've actually got at left back? No natural left-footed.
Luke Shaw should be light training right through the summer in preparation for Manchester United to have a go at whatever the challenges what come for next season. Luke Shaw, light training all summer. Makes total sense to me. Absolute total sense. And he's the type of kid now what's out there with England, right, and won't come back, will not come back till minimum the end of July, because he feels that he will be entitled to holidays off, even though he's not been playing football. Sounds harsh, sounds very harsh, but he's out there and he should just be doing light training right throughout the summer, and he's not doing it because he wants the first thing, and the first thing for him is that England team. He's not bothered about next year with United. He knows there's a problem. He knows what could happen. I don't care what anyone says.
He knows he's taking the risk.
He knows he's taking the risk. And at the end of the day, we're short of left backs, and he just needs to do light training, and he is prepared to risk everything for England. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but the man hasn't played. If he'd been back in light training before the end of the season, I'd have understood it. Okay, but he wasn't, and that's the thing. So he is putting his Manchester United career in jeopardy, right, when everyone can see it is a danger.
Yeah, I think you bang on with that. Some good points on Luke Shaw and most things what we've discussed today. Just like to thank everyone for getting involved in the chat. Some great opinions in there today. If you've enjoyed the video, you want to help support the channel, please smash a like on the video, and we'll be back tomorrow with another Manchester United chat. So get that notification on Reds, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you as always.
Thank you very much.